Hi guys, this is FFAN 16 and welcome to a new series that I'm bringing to the channel with a new co-host, Rosnick. He and I are going to be hosting and co-hosting a podcast which we hope to bring out to you guys once a month in regards to video game discussion, primarily focusing on Final Fantasy to start with, but hopefully branching out as more topics come to us. I'm going to allow Rosnick now to come join the fray and introduce himself and let us know a little bit about him and what type of video games pique his interest and what brought him into the video game genre. Talk a little bit amongst ourselves and then we'll get into our topic tonight, and we'll bring that up as soon as he introduces himself. Rosnick, you can go for it.
Well, hello, hello, everybody. Well, as you can see, my name is Ransic. I grew up a big Final Fantasy fan. Specifically, Final Fantasy IX was my all-time favorite of all time. I grew up in video games. When I was a lot younger, I grew up with my cousin, and we started playing RPGs. From Chrono Trigger all the way to Final Fantasy VII, which was my first exposure to it.
Oh, that's cool.
And then I was like, wow, we play Final Fantasy VII. This is awesome. This is terrific. This is something new. This is fresh. Oh my God, the battle system is amazing. The materia, oh my God, this is so good. The story was so good that I was like so intrigued by it. You know, it defined the ages of that generation.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII brought a lot of people at that time into Final Fantasy.
It's like a renaissance.
Well, it was considered Square Enix's renaissance for Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy VII, 8, and 9 were kind of their peak PlayStation games. So,
absolutely, it was. And I grew up with my cousin. My cousin, that was his favorite, 7. After that, the first one I actually like completely played, like full on, because I played 7 all the way into the end. My disc cracked. I had to get another disc, but by that time it took a while, so I played 8. And I beat 8. It took a while to beat 8, but I beat 8, and then finally I came back to 7, beat 7, and then I jumped into my all-time favorite 9, Zidane Tribal, baby.
Yeah, so that's why he's got Zidane as his trademark image at this time. That is going to be kind of his trademark, we'll call it, for the lack of a better word.
Yeah, it's like oh, it's just a photo.
Yeah,
trademark photo.
It's probably his trademark. No.
Yeah. Let me not get killed by Square Enix, though.
Yeah. Well, they do such great art. How can we not? And that can definitely be one of the subjects we can touch on in the future, is the art style of these type of video games and stuff. So, looking forward to doing these podcasts with you.
Definitely looking forward to it too. I love your work.
Thank you.
And it's gonna be a great partnership.
I think so too. And like I was saying, these will be once a month, roughly around an hour, if anything, an hour and a half long, depending on the topic we want to discuss. Tonight's topic is going to be, of course, the Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Now, for me, this is going to be a little bit on the light side because I've just jumped into it. I'm not too sure how far you've gotten into it, and haven't gone all the way through to give a full synopsis of the game, but I could definitely tell some things right off the bat, which you probably saw from my first impressions video.
Yes, I did, and when I looked at it, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, a lot of great topics about it. Final Fantasy VIII, the remastered, it was good. It's good. It's good to a core. I do love the graphical improvement to the character models.
Yeah.
However, it's just, if you really want to please the fans, I know we can't please everybody. However, can we please also try to remodel the backgrounds? Maybe that's something to do with the missing data of like the original like the original data from the original game. Maybe
Yeah.
they couldn't do it. They had to like retake
I
everything.
I think it had to do a lot with time as well. I don't think they were working on this for as long as they could have to the time they wanted to get it out. It is the 20th anniversary after all, and they want to kind of hit that anniversary mark before it went away with Final Fantasy VII Remake kind of taking the spotlight away from 8.
Right, right. Okay, that's fair enough, but I still think they could have added
Yeah,
some other stuff.
they
I
could
mean,
have.
I do like the battle assist. I also
Oh,
do
that's
like
such a good thing for drawing.
yeah, drawing like when I play, I go 3 times the speed
Mm.
and I just draw. Next thing you know, I have a 99 to 100 of that
I
same magic.
well, I know. In going back to the old way, it's almost like you can't now. Now that you've gotten that taste of that 3x drawing ability, it's like no way can I play this slow mo ever again.
I did it for 10 minutes and I went back to 3 times the speed
Yeah.
because it was not gonna happen.
It definitely helps save time because that drawing mechanic, although revolutionary at the time, was very tedious for sure.
Very, very tedious. It was extremely tedious, and I couldn't stand it. I was like fighting Ifrit, and I'm like, okay, okay. Oh, we have Shiva, like mad fast, and I was like, yeah, we got Shiva.
Well, not only that, is now you can make your GF summoning come faster because you don't have to wait for your gauge to go down. You just hit that button, and suddenly your GF is out, and you're like, yes.
Well, that gauge saved my life so many times. It's like back in the day. That gauge was everything.
Just imagine once your characters are fully affiliated with their GF and they're going the fastest speed they can, plus you turn on 3x, they're going to be summoning within a split second.
Extremely split second. But yeah, so that's what I was going to say is that overall, the whole thing about the remaster so far, I like the way it's going. I think I think it's selling. I think it's going to be great. But I would say this is what this is going to get a little. I would say this. I believe that Square. I understand all the diehard fans wanted 8 to come out a long time. We've been waiting years for 8 to come back out.
That poor little bastard child in the corner syndrome.
And that's I know that's your favorite Final Fantasy.
Oh my god! But, just a little, just a little,
just a little. But I completely think they should have decided to let's wait for Final Fantasy VII remake to happen. Then let's start the production and start recruiting people to make Final Fantasy VIII the remake. I think Final Fantasy VIII the remake would have been better. It would have been brand new everything.
You got to think they've already came out with the 7 remastered. So 7 already got the remaster treatment. Now they're getting the remake treatment. So it's just an order of sequence, right?
Right. And this also begs to differ. Like, is Square Enix ever going to make Final Fantasy 16?
That's a hard question because they're focused so much on the 7 remaster. Their whole first division, I believe, is working on it. Not only that, it's episodic. So Part 1 is huge. It's all just Midgard on 2 Blu-ray discs, and they haven't even have an idea of how long this game is actually going to be.
So we're basically not going to see Sephiroth the first disc.
We're going to see a... how can I call this? I believe it is a imagination of Sephiroth. It's a phantom of him. It's Cloud's psyche bringing Sephiroth forward, but it's not really Sephiroth. That's kind of what we saw in the trailer, right?
Right. It was like, oh my god, Sephiroth, and he's like, ooh, Cloud.
Yeah. I think that's just Cloud's brain playing with him, but that's definitely going to be a nice topic to touch on once we talk about the 7 remake.
Yes, definitely. But overall, 8, my god, it's just so beautiful. Like, the character models are so gorgeous. I'm just in love, Like, I've always been a fan of Squall Leonhardt as a character.
Yes, by far. His character growth in that game is huge.
It's huge. He starts off as the emo kid, okay? Like, sits in the corner, puts his head down.
Very introverted.
very into himself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's just, that I guess that's what a lot of like kids back in the like '90s started acting up. Like I started seeing kids act like Squall, and I'm like, Jesus, that kid's Squall
Whatever.
Leonhard. It's like, oh my god, that kid's just like Squall. Look at his mannerisms,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah. So I believe that Squall as a character was fantastic. His overall story arc was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love Zell as a secondary character.
Zell's that
He,
good comic relief. That character where you need to counterbalance the toughness and like lonely emo Squall, and then you got Zell.
kind of similar to Steiner in Nine.
Yes.
Because Steiner was such a freaking klutz. Like,
Well, and he
it's
was
just
Zidane's opposite to keep him
in,
pendulum equal.
right. So definitely Zell was Squall's,
Yes.
and Zell's. Oh, the thing about the three times the speed is Zell's limit break is kind of like hard to like muster because you got to go left, left, right, right, left, left,
That's
right,
why you
right,
got
left.
to turn it off for the limit breaks.
Yeah, for the limit break, you have to turn it off. I didn't turn it off for Squall's limit break because actually was hitting it perfectly, which is
But
kind of like surprising.
I must say, I'm very disappointed that the vibration functionality of the controller isn't there for the R1. I relied on that tactile feel to get a rhythm for not only his R1 regular hit, but his finishing moves as well. Because there's a
Right.
pattern, there's a rhythm, and I can feel the rhythm a lot better when I'm getting that tactile feedback on my controller than when I'm just watching the screen.
Right. I feel you on that one because you get the more of the rhythm and you can actually when you see the vibration and you hear the vibration in your controller, you can kind of somewhat time it
Yeah.
right.
You get a
Um,
feel for
get
it.
a feel for it, and then you can get the perfect one, and then
Yeah.
you can go rough divide after that.
Well, and
But
not only that is the Nintendo Switch, the original one, and even the upgraded version of it have rumble in the controllers. I know the mini doesn't, but I don't get the reason why they maybe they'll patch in a vibration function. We need that. I want that back. That's the one thing I truly miss in this remaster.
right, and that it's a shame that they didn't add it,
Mm-hmm.
and it breaks it breaks my heart. I was like, damn, like they could have added that. That's some small features, not that much of a
Yeah.
hassle to put in, but I mean, we can't have it all in the game. I understand,
Yeah.
but
It
it's a
makes me
shame
wonder
that they
where
missed.
they got the code that they did use from. Like,
That's a great question. I have no idea, but I'm sure they must have found some parts of the code.
mm-hmm.
Didn't they take the PC code
They
and they
must
just
have, and that's what I was gonna ask. Like, does the PC version? Because I haven't played it since I was very like young. The PC version. I only played it for a little bit because I hated it. The original disc PC version. I don't know too much about the Steam one besides what I've seen in live plays. But was there no vibration functionality in the PC version?
I don't believe so. Not that I remember. I mean, unless I'm wrong, and anybody could
Yeah, leave a comment, you guys, if you know if
leave.
there was a option to turn on the vibration functionality. I see turning it off for the GFs because your controller goes nuts when you're summoning a GF, and it's
Absolutely.
like.
It sounds like, oh my god, it sounds like a woodpecker. Like, what the hell's going on here?
But like just hit the start button and turn off the vibration when you're summoning, and turn it back on for your R1s. Like I have no problem doing that.
Yeah, it's. Oh man, I miss GFs.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, I don't know where the exact source code came from, but I feel like it most likely it started with the PC, and then
Mm-hmm.
I took the PC code and they broke it up, and it was like this is the code that we're gonna use for the remake. I
Yeah.
mean the remaster.
Remaster. Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, okay, let's use this for the remaster.
Yeah.
And that's the code that I think they used because if they used the original PS1 code,
Oh
then
god.
they would have found it and they would have probably fixed it a lot more.
Well, thank God they used the original PlayStation 1 music. That's all I had to say. That Steam version was.
Yeah, they must have like brought people back in to like do the music, or maybe they just had it saved somewhere, the music files.
Maybe they could have just pulled it off the PS1 disc too. Maybe those MP3 files or whatever they were easier to write off of the disc rather than the actual game data.
Yeah, the game data. Yeah, that's extremely much easier.
Hmm.
So thank God they did that because the music from eight is one of the
Oh,
best music of all time.
I love that
Um,
soundtrack.
I think that next to Final Fantasy 10-2,
Yes, I was just gonna say
fantastic
Final
music.
Fantasy X is like right up there with it.
Yeah, 10 is amazing. If any fans in the comments right now, if you guys ever play Final Fantasy 11, please leave a comment on fans page because Final Fantasy 11 had the one of the greatest soundtracks of all time,
I have to listen to
next
it.
to
I never
8 and 10.
played.
Yes, definitely. I mean, you can still play it, but I mean, I wouldn't recommend it. It's very outdated. It's not like 14.
Yeah, no, I'm into Final Fantasy 14, and I didn't really want to do MMOs prior to 14. I saw Final Fantasy 11 in the store, and the one thing that stopped me from buying it was because it was an MMO, and at that time I was not an MMO type of gamer. And really, when 14 came out and I tried the beta, that's kind of what got me on the bandwagon. But I will only play 14 because I really am not an MMO person. I'm more of a
Right.
single player gamer.
Right. It's totally fine. Like at first, I wasn't really either.
Yeah.
And then well, actually, it was my friend who worked at GameStop. They were talking about it. They're like, oh, Final Fantasy 11 is gonna be the first MMO,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to create your own character, and you're in this massive world of MMO. You're in this big, beautiful world of
Mm-hmm.
Vanadil, and you basically it's like an escape. For most people. And I wanted to escape reality a little bit. So I
That's what
played.
video games do for you, though. They help you deal with life issues when you just need to zen out and get away for a little bit and live another experience, right?
Yeah, and that's what I did. I played 11. I enjoyed it. And it goes back all the way to Final Fantasy 8
Mm-hmm.
and 9 and 7. It's just like these games also. I always thought I was in Balam Garden. Like I always told
Oh, I
myself,
would have loved to walk around the garden. It's
"Oh
just
man,
so beautiful. And
I wanted to be a seed student. Like I wanted to be a freaking mercenary."
you know what I used to call? I used to call them CD because my what was I like 14? No. Yeah, 14, 15-year-old brain just couldn't see seed in it. Like, I didn't think it would be like seed like you would plant. No, it's a C D because the D was capitalized. So that's how
Right.
I used to call it, CDs.
Right, and then when I saw it the first time, when I saw Seed, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Are you serious? They're gonna call their mercenary group Seed?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What kind of unweird like what is that like?" Oh,
They're not your
I don't get.
conventional mercenary force, though. They go after sorceresses.
They go after sorceress and they're freaking what you call it. They're students still, so I
Mm-hmm.
understand they go after sorceress, um, and that's amazing. And supposedly this is one of the facts that I've kind of like was researching that Sorceress Edea
Yeah.
wasn't a actual character who was supposed to be on 8. It
Yes.
was supposed to be on 7.
Same
And
with Rojin and Fujin. They were supposed to be
yeah,
in 7 as well. So instead of using those three, because they didn't really fit in with the story of 7 where it was going, they
right.
scrapped them and brought in the Turks instead. So the Turks actually replaced those three for the story in 7.
Oh, imagine the Turks in 8. Squall would not have it.
Well,
Squall
and
would look
Nomura was happy he was still able to use his villain and his characters, but in the next Final Fantasy.
right in the next, and it kind of matched pretty well. I mean,
They
Sorceress
do.
Edea, she was evil as hell, and then she became Ultimisia. Well, when
No,
Ultimisia came,
yeah, well, she
uh,
wasn't really evil. She was possessed by an eviler sorceress who kind of body controlled her.
right, which is like really excruciating, painful.
Well, yeah, not being able to control your own actions because some sorceress from another time, you decided to take on her powers because you didn't want the children. Like, there's some spoilers here, guys, so just be warned that I will put a spoiler tag below that we do go into some story content here. But she did it to save anybody else from the orphanage from getting the sorceress powers. Now, there is a theory out there that Sulfi is a hidden sorceress, but just never woken to her powers.
I kind of feel that too. There, I kind of yeah, that does make a little sense. You know, she did kind of look like that type of character that was very kind of like,
Well, it's her
you
finishing
know,
move, right? Like
yeah.
her aura is quite unique. She could do magic, she could do cure magic, she could end the game, which I've never gotten. I swear to God, one of these days I'm going to get the end and I'm going to be happy because I've at least seen it in real life. I don't
I
care
mean,
if it's on
I
YouTube. I want to see it.
I never did it either. And what does it do? Like it ends the
It
game, like
literally
you beat
brings
the
up the
game.
credits. You are in the flower field and it brings up the credits. That's what I've actually got to go and watch it because I've never seen it and I've never seen it in real life, but I want it. I sit there and I keep cycling
So
waiting
she
for
had
it to happen and it never
do over,
does.
do over, do over, do over, do over, do over cast.
Yeah. And then I see
It's
full cure and I'm like, "Okay."
I mean, full cure is amazing.
I
Like,
know. Or like 3 times aura. "Okay. I'll give up."
yeah, it's like, oh, Squall, you're dead.
Yeah.
Oh man,
I'm like, I guess I should
full
bring
cure
people
Selfie.
back to life.
This is also a good question. I wanted to tell you, what was your second in command if one of your mains, like let's say, I don't know if Squall's your main, most likely, right? Of course.
Yeah, because
So
you can't change out the main character in the older Final Fantasies. You always had to have Squall in your party unless you branched off to another story segment, and
right,
then you had to make a secondary party. That's the only time you couldn't have just Squall as your main.
right. So when Squall went down, who did you have as your secondary to pick up?
Mostly Zell. Zell made the
So,
secondary party leader.
okay, that's exactly how I kind of played it too. I played it Squall, Zell, and I had Questus in my first go of the game when I first
Yeah.
got the game.
Now, when
Uh,
I'm at the bomb area, the missile base,
right,
I do send the original garden party normally back to Balam. I'll send Keistis, Squall, and Zell together, and I'll leave Irvine, Sulfie, and Renoa at the base.
oh, nice,
And then
nice,
and then
nice.
Sulfie becomes my secondary mate. So how I use my GFs, I usually use Sulfie as my random. So it's always the same GFs go to Squall and then to Sophie, or
Right,
then Zell and Irvine always share junctions. So I'll switch my junctions between those two always. So those two will become affiliated with the same summons. And then
right,
Renoa and Keistis are the same thing. They share junctions. So I'll never have those two in the party at the same time. I'll never have Irvine and Zell in the party at the same time because they share each other's junction sets. And then
right,
Sulfie's kind of my random one. So if I do have to put in like Sulfie and Renoa and Squall, then Sulfie will use whoever's junction set I'm not currently using for the other two. So
right,
she's a random.
right. And
But that
junction system is still one of the most unique systems
it
of all time.
is. Yeah, it's definitely something that took 20 years of me to get fully used to. After a few years, I got her. The first time a couple times I played, I swear it was horrible. I didn't know what I was doing. But after playing it for so long, it's like, yep, I put this here.
Definitely. Now, guys, what is your favorite? You like the junction system, the materia system, or do you prefer the kind of like the regular magic skill system like Final Fantasy IX? Went
Or the
back to
Saphir
basics.
Grid. I love the Saphir Grid. That was an
The
excellent way of leveling.
sphere grid was awesome. I did like the dress sphere as well. It was
Yes, that
awesome.
was a
That dress
fun way
sphere.
of doing job classes. I think besides Final Fantasy V, Final Fantasy X-2 really did job classes a good character sets. Like, excellent way of handling job classes.
And that's how Final Fantasy 11 got their ideas. They were like,
Really?
well, we got, yeah, because they went from 10-2. They're like, oh, Dark Knight. Okay, we know Dark Knight is a classic,
Mm-hmm.
character in Final Fantasy. Let's have that, of course, as a job, but it's to be an advanced job. So, the basic jobs that you get in the game will be warrior, red
Yeah.
mage, monk, thief, warrior,
Yeah.
and white mage. So, and black mage. So those are like the 6 original jobs that you get, and then from there, when you hit level 30, you go to an advanced quest, and then you do the advanced quest, and then you
Nice.
start and do those jobs.
So a
And
lot
yeah,
like what they're doing with 14, where when A Realm Reborn came out, you started with a base class, and then at
right,
level 30, you earned your job. Now, they kind of got away with that after they went into Heaven's Ward, because at that point, most people were like 50, so there was no need to have lower class to make the new 3 classes that got released to work. You just had to pick them up, and they were now jobs.
Right, and that's what I actually liked more. I was like, I liked actual jobs. That's why I kind of didn't like 14 too much. But
You don't have to worry about that anymore. They got rid of that. They're now all
yeah,
jobs.
I definitely need to get back into it because I heard that there's a lot of good stuff, and definitely want to try a Red Mage again.
Shadowbringers is amazing.
Definitely got to get
amazing.
into it. Definitely got to get back into it. But yeah, man, this remastered for Final Fantasy VIII is one really great remaster. I think it's the best remaster out of all of them, honestly, because like 7's remaster was okay when it came out.
It had some audio issues, and 9 has a bit of audio issues that they actually patched a bit because they had cycling music issues in 9.
Not on the Switch. The Switch is still kind of bad.
But they haven't fixed the Switch. They fixed the PlayStation 4 version of 9 because they sent out a patch to stop it from restarting the song again instead of cycling it like it should.
Right. Do you have that problem in Final Fantasy VIII where you're in a battle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the battle music is battling, and then when you kill the mob, it'll go. It kind of
there's a bit of an audio glitch. Yeah, I've noticed that in my. I've noticed also if you have it in 3x, when you're doing a summon, it's almost like the audio doesn't keep up with the speed, and it's almost a split second after the action is finished, the sound is still going.
Right, it's like the new features cannot handle that old technology.
Yeah, they didn't sync the 3x with the audio files very well. It's having it's chugging a bit with it. You could definitely tell there's some jitteriness there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm like, whoa. When I heard that, I was like, whoa, what's going on? Is my game messed up? Please don't tell me my game is messed up.
No, it's your classic audio issues with not fully remastering it with. I don't understand something though. They've seen what they did with the Spiral remaster trilogy. They literally built that beautiful game from the ground up with a new engine they built to read the old disc, and then they recoded from there. They knew this technology was out there. Would it have been that much harder to spend a little bit more time asking what this did and to reuse it for Final Fantasy VIII? I'm just saying we could have got a little bit more fancier backgrounds.
Definitely. I still think they could have added a little bit extra time. Like I said, the release date of the game to me was great, but I feel like they could have pushed it at least another month or so.
They could have smoothed out some of the lines. I can understand them not re-rendering all the backgrounds, but clean the lines up a little bit. You could see patching on the world map of the PlayStation 1 pixelation, and then you've got a sharp squall running on it. I've also noticed the white lines on the road are missing in Balma, and the garden. Although they cleaned it up, it's missing a bit of the color pixelation details that used to be there. So it looks fantastic. It's just they almost took away a bit of the features to clean up the graphical quality a bit.
Right. And when it's a shame because it goes back to them trying to, fix this up, and that's why I think when Final Fantasy VIII does get a remake, OMG.
It's going to be big.
Are going to be huge.
I was thinking about that today. It's like, how big would the world be, or how big would they need to make it to make 8 work? And would they have to make it episodic, or could they just make it almost like what Final Fantasy 15 could have been, but kept everything explorable, but made it open linear where you have to follow a certain path?
Right.
And they don't have to make it as alive as they want to make 7. They don't need to have so many NPCs everywhere. Just give us a fully upscaled version of 8.
Well, I totally disagree on that part. I still think they should make it a little bit more alive, because if they're going to go in that direction with 7, they should go in that direction with all of them, honestly.
But then we'll never see the next-gen Final Fantasies, because we'll be stuck making remakes of all these old, which is great moneymaker. Don't get me wrong, they're printing money here. But we're also not innovating anything. We're not bringing in a new Final Fantasy world and story and lore, and they might rush the next one where we get like a vanilla version with DLC. I don't want that again. I want them to give me a full package deal again. Give me a
That's something that I was gonna actually talk to you right now about. How do you feel about these DLCs? Because honestly, I don't like DLCs. Like I'm old school.
Mm-hmm.
I like a full fledged game. Like similar to recently in Nintendo Switch,
Yeah.
Octopath Traveler.
Oh,
Octopath
that's an
Traveler,
amazing game. Yeah.
amazing game, full long game,
Mm-hmm.
right? So games like that gives you 80 hours to 90 hours of gameplay. You know, getting
Full
all the
story
secret
arcs.
weapons, cool story arcs, side missions here
Mm-hmm.
and there, of course, because you gotta have that in RPGs. And then there's no DLC. That's
Yeah.
it. Once you beat the game, that's the end of the story.
Here,
That's
here.
how I grew up with Final Fantasies.
No,
You know?
that's cool. Here's my thought on it. Back when we grew up, there was internet, but it isn't the internet like today. So let's put
Right.
that in the mind of all the youngins who are listening. Internet when we were young is not the same internet that you have today. It was
Right.
dial up. It was horrible. Yeah. Anyways, in my time. So we didn't really get to see those final mixed versions that Japan always got of games where there was extra content, extra fights. I can't speak, and just more story. So we got a complete game. We could play it from A to Z and feel fulfilled, but it took until they relaunched these games to finally get like Final Fantasy X and X-2 Remastered, Final Fantasy XII The Zodiac Age, um,
Right.
Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5. Those are all the final mix versions that Japan got, but we never seen out here in the West. Finally, we can play the full arcs of these games in their complete glory. I like that. I like what they're doing with Kingdom Hearts 3. So I might leave a comment below on how you feel about this as well. We got a full game. You could play Kingdom Hearts 3 from A to Z, from beginning to end, and the arc's done. It's a very busy game. And compared to
Right.
Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2, it's got a lot more content than those. Like, someone might argue Kingdom Hearts 2 is the pinnacle of the KH series, which it was. It definitely was of the time, but this DLC we're getting, which I just did a reaction trailer to, is kind of they call it the remind, but it's really the final mixed content. Now, if they go over and above and start releasing more stuff above that, that's milking the cow a little too much for my liking. But if this is just to be, no, we're not doing those final mixed versions anymore. We're gonna pack it up in a DLC and offer it to people who want to extend that story life for these extra fights, extra story content, and maybe a secret ending above the secret ending, then I'm okay with that type of DLC. But when you give me like for Final Fantasy 15, I get why they did it. I get why Tabata had to do it that way, but don't make that a precedent for your future games. That is not something you should be setting an example of. We had to get that shiznit out now because dang it, we're losing supporters and we're losing sponsors and we're losing we're losing fans. Let's get it out. That is what it was.
Right. I agree. I do like that. You know, you're right about the final mix things, because Japan, you know, they get a lot of exclusive things that do not release to us. But I still think they could just go, but like, you know what? You know, the USA, you know, let's just do it like how we used to do it, but let's just give them everything. You know, just throw it in. Maybe I'm being too greedy. Maybe that's why.
You got to look at game development for what it is today versus what it used to be. Game development wasn't as labor intensive for a PS1 or even a PS2 game. You would have a development team of maybe 10 to 100 people. Bam, get out a game a year. Let's do this. Game.
Right.
Graphical rendering and storytelling was a lot simpler back then. Now you move into the PS3, PS4 era, PS5. People are expecting better graphics, voice acting, near facial expressions, real crying, real graphical integrity to the world. You're going from a file size that I could fit into a small like baseball up to a giant workout ball worth of data. and your development team has gone from 10 to 100 people to thousands of people, that development time isn't the same as it used to be. Games are taking 5 to 7 years to develop. They don't
Right.
if you want to keep your company rolling, if you want to keep developing games without losing your audience, you can't wait that long. So what you're going to do is in 4 to 5 years, you're going to release a game and then maybe provide a season pass or a final mixed portion within a year or 6 months of that initial release. If you could keep that game alive without bankrupting or antagonizing your core audience, then go for it. It's business. It's a good business move. But if you're doing as a certain other company did and antagonizing your customers and making them feel like you're just cash grabbing, it's detrimental as well. So there is a double-edged sword system going on right now with game development and release and DLC.
Right.
So.
Fair enough. That's a good explanation, and and it's true. I mean, a lot of fans, that everything is it's such hard to do a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And this generation is like all the games are huge. So,
yes. Like 60
it,
gigabyte files is like, holy crap.
Jesus, like I gave it to my PS4. It takes like half my memory. I'm
Yeah.
like, Jesus.
Well, then you look at Final Fantasy VIII, 3 gigabytes. I'm like,
oh my god, so easy. So 3 gigabyte was huge back then.
I know, right?
3 gigabytes was 4 discs back then.
Yeah, it was like I think each disc was in megabits, and like the whole game maybe was like 350 megs, or I don't know, something really small, even though they were on discs, but they're discs, they're not Blu-ray, they're like CDRs or whatever.
Right.
So
and and it's crazy how the games are so big now. And you're right, it's going to be impossible to have Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy IX the same way that we want Final Fantasy VII remakes to happen. It's going to be nearly impossible. I don't think they will do it like that. I mean, that's just me being a huge fan of the series.
It's our dream. Like, they could have released
dream.
a physical version and they would have had so much money thrown just at them.
Exactly. And Final Fantasy IX is my favorite. So if they ever made a remake, they better make it good. They better spend a lot of time.
The fan expectation is always going to be so high. Just imagine the pressure on Square Enix right now with Final Fantasy VII. And Nomura is like, it's not going to be the same game. Please don't think of it as the same game. We want to touch more on what this world is, the lore, the characters, sub-characters that got like a half an hour worth of game time in the original game are now going to have full story arcs. Like,
I like that though.
It's going to be huge.
That aspect I do like, because I wanted to see more about Red 13. Red 13 was
my god, I want to know more about his history and like his parents and stuff.
His parents. I want to know about Vincent Valentine, even though we had his own girl with Deirdre Sybaris. But we want to know more about him.
But yeah, it depends on. I would like to see what they're going to mesh from the Outerverse games to the main Interverse, because how much of Dirge Sybaris is actually going to present itself in this game? How much is Crisis Core going to play? I want to find those Easter eggs. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be there.
I definitely want to find those Easter eggs too, because it's going to be a lot. I'm going to be spending hours in this game. So, I did buy the very expensive edition one. It's just, guys, don't do me.
No.
Don't be like me.
I can't. Expensive. To get it up in Canada was going to cost me like 700 Canadian dollars. I'm like, I can't afford that.
I spent $357 American dollars, and I still can't afford that. But somehow I figured it out.
No, good on you.
But yeah, I'm probably going to be broke for like 3 weeks. But it was well worth it, because I collect a lot of Final Fantasy stuff, and 7, 8, 9 are the most iconic ones.
Oh, I'd love to find more Final Fantasy stuff. Yeah.
But like 8, like if 8 gets the same treatment, the same treatment, which I highly doubt it, but
a dream.
If 8 does, a dream could happen. If it does get the same treatment, if we do get, like, let's say E3 comes out of nowhere, and one of these years, like maybe 2022 or something, and they'd be like, hey, boom, they show the video. Oh, it shows Squall at Balam Garden or something. Or you see Quittis, or that famous scene where Quittis is in the emergency room, and Squall's in the bed with a bandage in his head. It's like, oh, what happened, Cypher?
Yeah.
Whatever happened.
Whatever.
Bastard. Whatever. You know? So if they get that beautiful like scene, HD, like completely new style, you know, everything's different. You see all these models and it says for PS5, Final Fantasy VIII Remake will come out. I'm like, I will cry. I think I will cry.
I would flip harder than I did at E3 when they announced the remastered, and I nearly had a freaking heart attack.
Oh yeah, when I heard that, I was out. I can't believe it. I can't believe they come back out with 8. Finally, I've been waiting forever for this.
I know, right? It's been in such a dark place, and I mean by it's been shoved in the corner, and the lights have been turned off, and Square Enix walked away. And 7, 9, 10, they get all the they're at the party with all the limelights, and 8's in the corner like Squall is at the Baumel Garden drinking his wine, saying, "I can't dance. Don't even ask." And then finally,
you're the most good-looking dude in here. Oh my god, your face is so pixelated. Oh my goodness.
I thought it was okay. I've been playing him that way for 20 years. He looked okay to me.
he's just a cool broski. It's fine. It's fine. You know, it's alright.
But
you know, like...
I'm just happy this game finally is here. More people can get their hands on it who don't have older generation consoles, who don't want to pick up the older gen consoles, who want to experience this masterpiece, in my opinion, of innovation of Final Fantasy. The storyline is amazing, and it's really something that belongs in this family of lineups for the PS4. And my thing looked a little empty when it jumped from 9 to 10. It just needed that, and it's such a fulfillment to finally see 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm like, pretty.
Yeah. Back to normal. Then we got 11. Well, 11's never coming back out because 11's gone. Then we got 12.
12 was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, 12. That's the one I did not really like much. 12. I don't know. Like my friend and I played it. Maybe just because I kept on dying for that freaking summon, the freaking ice summon.
Yeah.
Was it Shiva? I don't remember.
No, they don't have the classic summon names in there. They're total different summoning class.
That freaking boss murdered me like 5,000 times.
See, I played Tactics well before I played Final Fantasy XII, and I got Final Fantasy XII when I was in my 3rd year college, and I plastered the license board on my dorm wall so I could follow the license board when I was playing it. So yeah, I'm that geek. But
oh god, I'm just terrible. I just kept on dying, and you know what, I think the love of 12 left me.
Yeah. Like, I think you need to replay it with the Zodiac Age. The Zodiac Age is an entirely different beast from the original game.
I'll definitely give it a try, because I did like the generals. I did like the way the characters were, and I just didn't know who the hell was the main character, because
that's because Square didn't even know who the hell was the main character. Vaughn was an afterthought, because
was it the what was it, princess?
No, it was supposed to be Bosch, and then Princess Ash had a side. Everyone had their own story, and they had to come together to save the realm. The problem is they didn't want an old guy being the main cast members, so they brought Vaughn in as that pretty young main.
I actually liked Vaughn. Vaughn was great.
He's your comic relief, and I don't think the main guy should be the comic relief. That should be the friend of the main guy, and that's why you see Belfier saying, "I'm the lead man of this," because he's making fun of Vaughn being the main character. They're literally breaking the fourth wall when they do that.
That's wow, that's amazing. And then, oh my god, 12 has a lot of bad memories on my end. On your end, it was great memories.
Yeah, give her another try. I think you'll be alright. And if you need help, my Discord community can definitely give you help.
Definitely. 13. Ooh. Oh man, I don't want to talk about 13. Oh,
it's a love or hate, and I actually quite enjoyed it when it first came out. I love the battle system in 13. I liked how
the first one.
Yes.
I like the first one. 13. And after that, no more, please.
Lightning Returns was good. I liked Lightning Returns. I like the different job class systems in that.
This is what I think about Lightning. Okay? I love female characters. I love female protagonists. Yeah. Big fan of Yuna. But to me, she didn't know what she wanted to be. She wanted to be Cloud. She wanted to be Squall. Like,
Yeah.
excuse me. Like,
She
can we
hid
have
her feelings
originality here?
away. She locked her feelings away because she had to be strong for her sister. And she had to be that, like, parent and sister figures. So she
My
kind of
co-
just took it on herself to lock her feelings away.
my cousin was like, "Oh, does Lightning and Hope go out?" I'm like, "Ew, no. Hope is like mad
They
young."
not in 13 too.
Well, 13 too. He's older, right? He's like
Yeah, he's in his
like
20s.
I don't want no. I would actually want a spoiler to see if they actually do date because that'd be kind of weird.
Well,
But
kind of Hope goes back to his young version and Lightning returns just because Benavelza, it's a whole story that it will take a whole other podcast to describe Benavelza's grand master plan and it all. It took me forever to understand the Nova Crystallis line,
right,
and I'm still playing through Type Zero because it's so slow. So
right,
slow.
right. And I actually dig Hope. Hope was my favorite character in
Yeah.
13, but
I didn't
after
like him
that,
at first. He was very whiny.
well,
I know he lost his mom and all, but he was a little too obsessed with killing Snow when obviously he was there. His mom volunteered right in front of him. Snow didn't force her to volunteer.
right, right.
And
That's true.
and Hope is old enough to understand what his mother's ambition was. It's just Snow couldn't keep a hold of her. He's dangling and trying to hold himself at the same time.
Right.
So
Oh man, it's another game for another
it
podcast. But
is. That could be a whole discussion all by itself.
Jesus, like 13 is just it's such a mind blast. It's
Yeah.
just like Jesus, but definitely like eight is his own beast,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I love eight like so much. Not more than nine, but eight is fantastic, and I'm happy you're getting to play it again.
I'm excited. Yeah.
I'm playing it again.
I'm playing 3 different versions of it. I'm playing one for my stream, one for my recording of videos for help videos, and on my Switch.
Nice.
Because I'm crazy.
So which one is your play by yourself without recording? Is it the Switch version?
Yeah, the Switch version is just me bumming around. I'm actually trying things out on the Switch first, and then if I figure it out there, then I could do it quicker on my PS4 version so I can record quicker.
Ah, gotcha. Well, yeah,
yeah.
I only bought one because I was like too much. So
I'm a little bit of a crazy person when it comes to my favorite games.
Yeah, I'm only crazy for 9. Like 9, I will buy 3 copies of, but
yeah,
it's just I just love the world of 9. Like
we could let's discuss that for a podcast. That'd be awesome because I have like a lot of people here who really like 9 too. When I did a live stream of it, there was a lot that were excited to be a part of that. So
definitely, 9 fans, raise your hands.
Yeah, let's hear it in the comments below what we could be discussing in regards to Final Fantasy IX. Maybe we'll do that for next month's topic. If you guys want to leave any kind of happy memories or things that you found funny or the best parts of Final Fantasy IX, I love Beatrix and Steiner's story. I think that is my favorite part of Final Fantasy IX.
Freya.
Freya is my girl. She is my homegirl, like my main one that I love for the character in Final Fantasy IX, but the story... Steiner's just such a klutz.
She is my right-hand woman.
I know. Like, she's amazing.
She takes things down.
Mm-hmm.
But definitely, guys, leave comments on fans' page, and if you guys want us to talk about anything,
yeah, topics would be great.
Even other Square Enix titles that are not like Final Fantasy based. Mm-hmm. If you guys want us to talk about that, I actually have one in mind, which I would love to talk about.
Yeah.
And that's one of my other favorite titles, Parasite Eve.
I've got both Parasite Eve 1 and 2, but I've only really fully played 1. Oh my god, the creepy baby at the end.
Oh god. I remember that creepy baby.
That boss fight took me forever.
Guys, this is another game.
They need to remaster that one.
To remastered. I want both of them remastered in a package.
The battle system of Parasite Eve was something different too. It took me forever to figure out how to get my weapons equipped and to switch between them. But yes, let's definitely discuss Parasite Eve on one of our videos.
Definitely, because Parasite Eve is Bay. It's like my
Yeah.
right hand. Like I just
I should
love
play that
Parasite Eve.
again. It's been so long.
It's been such a while, and I just love cop stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like detectives type stuff. And
And
I
they do it
actually,
really good in there. Like sometimes, like I love Sherlock Holmes, and some of the Sherlock Holmes games get a little tedious. But Parasite Eve did both the deduction and the battle coordination really well.
definitely,
Plus
and
the
it just,
horror.
yeah, and I love the old school '90s type theme because it was like a '90s type New York.
Yeah.
So to see '90s New York back on a video game would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And definitely, I would love it to they either to remaster or remake it. Remake it would be better,
Yeah.
but that's
But a
just every
remaster
fan
would
would say.
be greatly like a whole compilation remaster of both three games. They need to pair up all three games in a remaster and sell it physically.
Wasn't the
That would
third
be
game
great.
Third Birthday? Wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, third anniversary of third birthday or something like that. I haven't played that one because it's on the PSP and I never got a chance to pick it up. I'd love to add it to my collection because I do have the other two Parasitees, but it's hard to come by. So,
Yeah, it is because I played only the first Parasite Eve.
mhm.
I never played the second,
Yeah,
unfortunately,
no, I
because
haven't played the second one either. I think I do have it either on my PS1 Classic because I have a friend with a whole bunch of games that he let me have, but I thought I had a physical version of it as well. I just have to check my collection behind me. But we're gonna be wrapping it up here pretty quick. Is there any final thoughts about Final Fantasy VIII so far that you can think of? The world, the characters, the story, that fact that we actually have it in real life now for current gen. What's your
actually,
feel so far?
my feel is great. I'm enjoying the game. I'm happy Square Enix did this now. Then wait another freaking 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm actually happy that they did it. I mean, yes, it has its flaws, but you know what? Every game has their flaws,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm happy with the decision that they made. Final Fantasy is a great game. I love the world. I love the characters, and the music is one of the best. The
Oh my god,
soundtrack,
the music.
and I still hear the landing in my dreams sometimes. Um, but that's definitely that. Thanks guys for having me here with Fan. And yeah, again, my name is Ransic, and it was a pleasure to be on your podcast.
Well, thank you, and I'm actually very excited that we have this game as well, and maybe on its 25th anniversary we'll hear maybe of something more in regards to this. But for what it is, and for the fact that it's actually here, I think we should be more than ecstatic and excited that we have this in this form. Yeah, there's some funny things like how Sid's model is PS1 and then they actually do have a small sprite of an HD version of him in other spots that they could have really just put in the right spot. But hey, it's stuff that you could point out and laugh at, but really we are all loving it. We are all excited. By all I mean people that I talk to. I haven't heard anybody who wasn't actually screaming and crying that this was actually coming out. And yeah, it's been a long time waiting. We've seen a lot of remasters and stuff being announced for the other games, and just 8 never got talked about. And I think Square finally heard us. We've been loud enough. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. People,
it does. It
yes.
does.
So let's keep squeaking. Let's keep telling them if they want to keep doing these remasters, which it seems like it's the thing right now, not only for Square Enix, but for other developers. If there's something that you would like to see remastered, start the word, tweet it, talk about it. It will get to somebody's ears, and if there's enough want for it, I'm sure they'll see the money in it and get us a copy of it. So thank you, Ransic, for joining me. I look forward to these future podcasts with you. If you guys like the format that we're doing, please let me know. Hopefully in the future we'll have a double video feed going if he's up to it. If not, we'll keep doing it this way. Yeah, so we'll discuss what will be our next topic for next month. I will tweet it on my Twitter or on my Discord just to give guys a heads up of what the next topic is. Please leave it in the comments below of what you would like to be discussed in regards to video games from mostly Square Enix right now. We will be branching out once we figure out what other games we share in common and that we've actually played so we know what we're talking about. So yeah, if you like what you see and you want to keep up with these podcasts, please hit that subscribe button, become a Chocobo Knight, join the fray, and hit that notification bell because YouTube has this thing of not telling people when videos go up unless you hit that bell. And like the video if you do, and that would help it as well. And you guys are great. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Ransic. You have a great night, and we'll talk to you next podcast.
Take care. See you next podcast.
And as always, guys, happy gaming.